Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Well, as we continue on with the unfolding story on Brian McIntyre, Bo Mac, or what most people know as Terrence Crawford's trainer. Listen, the way I sum this up is Bo money, Bo problems. For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm getting at, like more money, more problems. Listen, you're hearing all kind of things circulating. You know, I'm doing videos. You got people who've never even had a YouTube channel creating YouTube channels to start to upload content on this situation with Bo Mac. But several other things have come out that I think makes for good dialogue. First and foremost, I want to say that the situation with Bo Mac is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But the more we... See, this is the thing that sucks about this whole social media thing. You get people who've gone out there and done some research on Bo Mac and kind of unearthed some skeletons. But then Bo Mac has gone out and he has done some interviews where he said that, you know, he's had some ups and downs with the law in the past, in particular some weapons charges, right? But that has nothing to do with what he's going through right now. So as it stands, and again, we're just kind of adding to the rumor mill that it's highly likely that he traveled into the UK on a private jet. Now, for those of you who say a private jet, who, what, when, where, why, Eubank Jr. and Liam Smith is not that kind of profile fight to where a budget can accommodate the expense of a private jet. And that was something that I was talking about, and I was countered with, hey, Hood Champion, Eubank Jr., he mingles with a lot of high rollers because he plays in high stakes poker tournaments, and they just have those kind of connections. So it's not unrealistic that Eubank Jr. and Bo Mac travel from the States to the UK on a private jet, and as a result, Bo Mac with his high profile status, Eubank Jr. with his high profile status, and whoever else traveled with them and a high profile status were able to kind of skirt customs and just kind of enter the country. It's not uncommon for those kind of things to happen when dealing with the not so common individual. And of course I said, okay, there's no proof of any of that, but that's fair to add to the conversation, right? It almost could make sense. And the reason for me it could almost make sense is because I'm going to give you a true story. This isn't me hearing something from someone else. This is something I went through. And this is what happened with myself and my three brothers, right? All four of us. We were going back to Trinidad and Tobago. The reason why, it doesn't matter. But one of my brothers, he was trying to travel on a regular identification card. He didn't bring his passport because he was used to, since he was military, just kind of traveling around, showing your ID, and you can go anywhere stateside. But as far as going overseas, unless you're on military orders, you need a passport. You know what I'm saying? So he just didn't have his passport. So we're down there in Miami, and we're stuck. We're in the airport. The flight leaves in like 3 hours. And so we go to check in, and boom, my passport, my other two brothers' passport, my fourth brother, no passport. So they're like, hey, he can't leave the country. And we're all panicking. We're like, damn. Because the reason we were going down there was, we couldn't revisit that. Like, it was, without me getting into it, like, he had to be there. So he was like, don't worry about it. Y'all go. I'll just figure this out. I'm like, nah. So we called family back there, and what happened, I put it to you this way. I had somebody who I was related to that I contacted, right? It was my uncle. But we had someone that we were related to who he notified, and they made a phone call to the embassy there, Trinidad and Tobago embassy lead, who was there in Miami. Phone call was made to the airport. Fax number and everything was provided to this individual in Trinidad. And a fax was sent to the airport allowing my brother entry into the country. All four of us got on the plane, everybody there in the airport looked shook. They didn't understand how these 4 guys were able to leave America and go to this country, one without a passport. So we get to Trinidad and Tobago, and we get off the plane. As we're coming through, we're entering. There's a point where you enter, they check in your the clearance card that you sign, checking your passport and everything, ask you some questions. Anyway, we come through there, everyone's forming a line, we're about to get in line, and there's a sign there, and they call us out. Hey, you so-and-so and so-and-so and so. We're like, yeah, you guys come with us. We walked around. They had people there who grabbed our carry-on bags. They escorted us there. We went and collected our luggage, walked straight through, and we were there where family was waiting for us. Now, what I'm telling you is, right, that happened to us. What I'm telling you is a fact. Now, no, nobody had any weapons or anything. It just so happened these individuals, family members, were able to make those kind of calls. I didn't even know that. I knew that I would say they were quote unquote important people, but not like that. And that's where we had a conversation once we got there, like, hey, how was that? How'd you make that happen? And then it was more like a joke. You didn't know, blah, 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 had that kind of muscle, huh? And we all laughed. Ate some curry goat, chill, roti, dal puri, and that was it. So if that can happen for me, knowing that I had the right family member who could make that call, I can only imagine when you're a high profile person or you're someone who has a whole lot of money and can grease palms, or you know people in the right positions who make determination on who does or doesn't enter the country. So that being said, it's a possibility that Bomac was on a private jet and was able to get in the country with a gun. Now, the thing is this. Let's say none of that crap is the case with Bomac. He came to the country with no weapon on him, okay? He's leaving the country now, and a weapon ends up in his bag with ammunition. If Bomac never seen that weapon, if Bomac has never touched that weapon, or the bag, or the towel it was wrapped up in, or the ammunition, there should be no fingerprints. Case closed. He's free, right? Well, not the case. You say, oh no, well, if his fingerprints aren't on the gun, his fingerprints aren't on the ammunition, box of ammunition, spent shells or whatever it is, Bomac should be free. To that I say, let's hold our horses. I'm not saying anyone's taking it to the stupid. I'm just saying let's hold our horses. If you enter a country, a suitcase, right? Or let's say you're trying to enter or leave, right? You're entering or departing. You have a suitcase and you have bricks of cocaine, bricks of weed, or you have just a little pack of anything that's a controlled substance that you're not supposed to have and you'll be bringing to the airport, right? And they pull you out of the line and say, hey, whose is this? And you say, I don't know whose that is. That's not mine. What do they say? Okay, no problem. You're free to go, case closed. Or do they say, it's in your possession, you're responsible, guilty until proven innocent, right? Same thing with Bomac and his gun. Guilty until proven innocent. And the thing about it, it doesn't even sound like it's up for negotiation for him to avoid that jail sentencing. Even from my understanding, right? I'm no lawyer. I'm not out in the UK. Those laws are different. From listening, I've read thousands of comments, and there's some people who claim to be, legal experts out of the UK. But I'm pulling the consistencies out, right? And what seems realistic to me. My understanding is, even if they bail him out, he can't leave the UK. He's got to stay there to await trial, because for him to come back to the United States, chance he may not come back, then you got a big problem. So they could bail him out, and he could be there in the UK hanging out until his trial date on October 9th. But they say more than likely he is going to do time. Now, let's just see how it plays out. Because if it's not his weapon, It may be a process, but they may be able to kind of pry him out of that legal constraint that he's in and get him back over here. But if they find out that he came over there, he had the weapon, and he just foolishly thought he could just bring it through the airport, well then Bomac's in serious trouble. Fingerprints on the weapon or not on the weapon, it's not going to matter. And that is the issue. So here we go. Bold money, bold problems. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I'm in the breeze.